Hey boys and girls, so it's Mr. Whitley, and today is March 26th, which means it's Thursday. And if you're working on your packet, you are on day 3. So looking at day 3, just a few of the things that you're working on. You have a new article about the telephone and a light bulb. This is a really cool article. So read that and think of your notice and wonders. Yesterday we started this phonics page about marking them up. The first side we were talking about V-E. I'm sorry, today is the day we're working on this one. We're going to talk about V-E, okay? So make sure you mark them up with a macron and slash out the E to show that it's silent. Read the sentences down here and mark them up, especially underline the base words and circle suffixes. Okay, and then in the back side, they give you some vocabulary words. We've done this in class quite a bit. Read those vocabulary words like baseball and bedtime, expire, postpone, sunrise, invite, trombone, and entire. So expire, if you're not sure what that means like it's no longer good. Like if you go and park on a street and you put money into a parking meter and it expires, it means you're out of time. Postpone means to put it off until later, okay? So fill those out. For math, we're talking about pulling out data. Make sure that the information's already filled in. Figure out what the total number of girls are, what's the total number of boys. Explain this problem down here as well, okay? All right. So if you have any questions, as always, have mom or dad or grandma and grandpa shoot me a question on balloons. So at home, today's math lessons will require you to get some objects. They don't have to be very big. They can be a little shorter, like pencils. If you have paintbrushes, that's cool. Maybe pieces of string. Can even be like Lego blocks or toys. Nothing too big, but you want to be able to do pairs. So you want to be able to get, I don't know, a piece of string and then a Lego, and you're going to compare them. If we were in school, we'd be on lesson 9-7. We're talking about the differences between the lengths of two objects. And I'm going to do just a few as an example for you. Obviously, you don't have your workbook at home, but you can do some real-life examples of your own. So I want you to pause the video. I want you to go find several things, tools, toys, whatever, and bring them back to your table, wherever you are. So pause the video and go grab them. Okay, I'm assuming you're back. So I'm going to give you an example. We're still using the unit of measurement as centimeters. So remember, use your centimeter side of your ruler. Remember, we always want to start at the 0 or that first line, or if your ruler doesn't have that, you start at the very edge. So here what they're asking you to do is says, measure the length of each object. Complete the number sentence to find the difference between the lengths. We know in a number sentence, we're doing either addition or subtraction and figuring out, hey, what is the answer? So for number 1, it looks like they've given us a piece of a straw. So we're going to measure that. I'm going to measure that. You, after you see these examples, are going to take two objects, you're going to measure them, you're going to compare them. We're going to talk about how you can figure out which one's longer and how much longer it is. So the first one, we have our straw. We start at the 0 at that line. You'll start at that 0 for your object for the end of it. Looks like it goes to, what, about 7 centimeters. So I'm going to write down 7 centimeters. And whatever tool you have to write on at home, paper, just write down the length of one object after you see my example. So wait till I'm done with these examples and then go and measure your own. Okay, and then the next object is a piece of string. So we start once again at that 0. We check and see what it's closest to. It looks like it's closest to 10. So it's 10 centimeters. Now down here, it gives us a nice outline, a nice frame for our number sentence. Well, in this case, since we're comparing, we're going to figure out which one's bigger and how much bigger it is. So the first thing you're going to do is, after you've measured your two objects and you come up with how long they are in centimeters, you're going to put the biggest measurement first. So in this case, we have 7 and 10. Obviously, 10's bigger, so 10 goes first. And then our smaller object, that measurement goes second. So you say, okay, I know the biggest measurement is 10. We're going to take away 7. In this case, when we're comparing, we're subtracting. So 10 minus 7. Now that one's pretty easy. You guys can do that in your heads. But if you can't, flip your ruler over, or you can flip it over this way. Well, you can do it either way. But I was going to do it this way, just so, because it's 10. So we're going to jump back 7. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it'll give us 3. If you need to use that, it's just like using a number line. So our answer, the difference between the two in length in centimeters, is 3 centimeters. Okay? I'll give you one more example. We have a paintbrush. Obviously, this is not a real paintbrush. We're going to measure it. We start at the 0 and we go to the 11. So we say, okay. Obviously, we can already tell that that paintbrush is the bigger object. And then we have a toothpick. We measure that, start at the 0, and we go down to the 5, and we put that there as the second measurement. Now, you won't have this number sentence frame, but that's no worries. You're going to be able to figure out this pretty easily. So the first thing we do, since we're comparing two objects, is we pick the object that is the bigger measurement. Obviously, the bigger measurement is 11 centimeters, so we put 11 centimeters first. The smallest measurement is 5 centimeters, so we put that second. And then you can use your ruler, or you can count up from 5 to get to 11, or you can count back from 11 to get to 5. Either way works. So I'm going to count up from 5 to get to 11. I say 5, and then I put up my finger. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one more, 11. That's 6. So if I wanted to fill this sentence out, the paintbrush is 6 centimeters longer than a toothbrush. And I could do it for up here, but I'm not too worried about it. So what you're going to do is, you've already gotten several objects that are different sizes. The first thing you do is you pick 2 to match up. You take whatever 2 they are, whether a piece of string or a Lego, you measure both of those, you write down the measurement, and then you write the number sentence. Whichever one is bigger, probably that piece of string, you write down how long that piece of string is. And since we're comparing, we are subtracting. So if your piece of string is 5 centimeters and your Lego block is 3 centimeters, it's going to be 5 minus 3, and you come up with total. It's 2 centimeters. Make sure you label it as well. Okay? All right. Next thing we're going to jump into. We're going to do some foundation spelling. So hopefully you have paper or something to write on at home, on the back of something. It doesn't really matter. If you don't have it, you can do air writing. If you want to write on a table with your finger, that's totally cool as well. Remember that trick about shaving cream. It's messy, but it still works. It actually works better as if you have some saran wrap. Tear off a piece of saran wrap. Ask your dad if you can borrow some of his shaving cream. Only do it on a table that's not wooden. Plastic's better. Put it on a table, kind of smear it out, and you can write in that. Same thing for rice. If you have some rice, put it in a bowl and write it out. You can actually write it out surprisingly well. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, if we were in school today, we would be doing a practice foundations test. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 big sounds, okay? So the first sound is the long O sound. Now, if we were in class, we would have our tools all around us, and we would look back at our poster that talks about those vowel letters. So I want to see if you can do without it. So think for a moment, how many ways can you write the long O vowel sound? So take a moment to write it down. Pause this video if you need to, and let's go over here. So if we come over to our long O sound, we know there are 5 ways to write the long O sound. O-E with that silent E, just a plain O. O-A in the vowel team, O-E as well, and O-W. So 5 ways to write the long O sound. The next one, we're talking about R-controlled vowels. This one is R. So not R, but R. Now we know there are 3 ways to write the R sound. So pause this video if you need to. Write down those 3 ways to come up with the R sound, and then turn it back on. Okay. Hopefully you've written down those 3 ways. The nice thing about having our posters here rather than at school is that we can look at them. So, 3 ways. E-R as in her, I-R as in bird, U-R as in burn. Ouch, don't do that, okay? All right, and the last one, we're going to do all the ways that we can write the long A sound. So pause the video, write down all the ways you can write the long A sound. Hopefully Mrs. Whitley's not showing you right now. Okay, unpause, come on back, and we know there are 4 ways to write the long A sound. So over here, just like O, we have an A-E, that silent E, slice that off, mark it off, just A by itself, and AI and AY, those double vowel teams, okay? All right, for the next one, you know what? I'm gonna have another guest come help us out. So this is my oldest son, Eli. You got to meet Quinn yesterday. This is Eli. Eli, can you say hi to the boys and girls?
Hi.
Now, Eli is really good at spelling, not to put any pressure on him. So he's gonna do a few of our spelling words. I'm gonna say them, he's gonna write them, and you're gonna write them down too. After he's done writing them, we're gonna check and see if they're right. And then I'm going to mark him up because he doesn't do foundations at school. He does a different program, so he's not quite familiar, but he is familiar with spelling his words. So the first word, Eli, you ready? This word is a plural word, so not singular. There's going to be more than one of them. Clowns. Like clown snakes in Batman. Clowns. Okay, let's check it out. Let's take our fingers. That K sound at the beginning. We know often we're going to have that C at the beginning rather than a K for a word like this. K, ow. Can I borrow the marker, Eli? You don't have to erase it. Thanks, buddy. So he's good so far. Ow. We hear that ow sound. We know there's several ways to make the ow sound. In this case, we're going to do the circle that. Put a D for a double vowel syllable. Clown. So if he's thinking about the base word, sounds like he's got it right. We're going to underline that. We're going to put a line under the C and the L because it's a blend, not a digraph, but a blend. We have the N. And then Eli, what did you add at the end of the word to make it a plural?
An S.
Yeah, so we would actually circle that S and we would give it, let's do a hand clap, but we don't even need to clap it because if you look over here, there's one vowel. So there's one vowel, it's more than likely going to be one syllable. Let's do clowns. One syllable. We just need to scoop it. There you go. All right, nice job, Eli. Okay, you want to erase that? So Eli, this is past tense. You're going to add a suffix to this one. So it's bowed. Like he bowed to his sensei. Good. Nice job. So we hear the b, ow. We hear that double vowel team. Hey, Eli, where's your base word? What's your base word?
Bow.
Yeah, your base word is bow. So we would underline it. And where's your suffix?
ED.
Yeah, so we're going to circle that ed because that's your suffix. And I actually need to put a D because this is OW. And for us, that's called a double vowel team. And how many syllables is bowed? Take your hands. Let's clap it. Ready? Bowed. Just one. So we're going to scoop that dude. All right. Let's do one more for the boys and girls, okay? So if you are saving up for a Lego and you have a certain amount of money to spend and you go to the store and you find out that the Lego is on a discount, that means it's a what? If something's on a discount, you know what that is? So if...
Sale.
Yep, it's a sale. So discount. This one actually has 2 syllables, so you're going to have at least 2 vowels. Good, nice job. So discount. We're gonna clap it and see where it splits. Discount. So if you look right here, since there are 2 consonants, we're gonna split that word between the 2 consonants. That's a short I. So we mark that up. It's a closed syllable. Ow. Discount. So over here, if we look, it's an owl as in trout. Over here, so it's still a vowel, a double vowel team. And then we have our NT, that is a blend, not a digraph. All right, very nice. Eli, are you ready for some trick words? I'm gonna give you a couple trick words. So trick words for our class are words that don't really follow all our Foundations rules, so you can't really tap them out. You just kind of have to know them. And normally we have these up on our wall, but these boys and girls are going to learn from you. So let's do the very first one. Eli, let's do together. I've taught my team a trick to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what the trick is?
To get her.
Yep, like father, like son. There you go. And then this one, very good. So we have to get her as our trick. So the next one, we're just going to give them 2. Let's give them the word peace. Now, this is a tricky one because there are a couple of different words that sound the same but are spelled differently and mean different things. Let's do peace like you want a piece of pie. Yep. Good. In this case, peace is Piece. Very good job. So, peace. And the last one, we normally do a sentence, so I'm going to give you a sentence. These boys and girls can write it down too. Boys and girls, I'm going to give you the sentence. You can pause the video and wait for, and write it down yourself, and then turn it back on, and you'll see Eli, what he's written. So the sentence is, the king brought his crown. So if you need to pause it, put that. The king brought, not bought, but brought his crown. Nice. 2 things I'm going to ask you to do. What do we always put at the beginning of a sentence? That's tricky even for big guys like you. And then punctuation. So king, ing, king, that just like you want to mark it up. So put a boxer on the ing, because that's what we call a glued sound. We're not going to do everything, but put a circle around the OU, because it's a double vowel team. And then put a circle around the OW. It's another vowel team. We won't mark everything up. You can do that at home if you'd like, but this is our sentence for today. So practice those today, guys. And we're going to pause this video and we're going to start a new one. And we're going to talk a little bit about PAS, a little more about what we just talked about yesterday. And Eli's going to do a read aloud for us. I'll talk to you in a minute.